Welcome to day 1 of the 30-day newbie improvement journey. Let's do it. So before we hop into day 1, I should probably give you the basic plan of the 30-day newbie improvement journey. I realised that I've been playing Fortnite on and off since season 4, and I'm still terrible and tend to get killed almost all of the times I get into a battle. I still don't have my first solo win, so I decided to take a step back and needed to do something different. I decided to play 10 solo games and then go back over my replays to see what I did wrong. Those games are playing now, and you will see that what I was doing wrong was pretty much everything. There really wasn't much I did well, so I made a list of the main reasons I died and then put a plan together to start working each day on specific focus points with the aim of getting better at the game, getting my first solo win, beating my highest kills of 3 games in a solo match, and then passing on whatever I learned of any use on to you with the hope that it could help you. So in terms of stats, you can see where I'm starting from. You can see here the stats from a shared account, which I probably played a quarter of those matches, but frustratingly none of the wins are mine. I then started a new account when I decided to make this improvement journey, so these are the stats from that. So looking at that, there's 127 matches played and 0 wins, so certainly not great, and something we definitely need to be improving on, and hey, that's what we're here for today. So the aim of each of the journey days is to really make the most of the time we have available. We're all very busy. Not many of us have as much time as we'd like to play and to get better. So it's a case of trying to make the time available that we do have and use it as best we can to improve as quick as we can. And the way we're going to do that is by on each day having a particular focus point that we're going to try and learn, and we're going to jump in for about half an hour to an hour into a practice session, perhaps into a playground or creative mode, and really focus down on that focus point. We'll then go into for about half an hour to an hour, we'll go into a team rumble or limited time mode and put that skill into a real-time situation, real game situation, and really focus on making that skill happen in the team rumble. And then after that, for 10 games, we're going to try and put that skill into into 10 solo games, and again trying to achieve that solo win. And at the end of the 10 games, we're going to make a list of all the things that worked and didn't work and take forward the positives to the next game. Okay, so focus points for day 1 is landing and materials, and we're not actually going to have a practice on this because I didn't want the video to be too long, and landing and materials is just pretty straightforward. It's just remembering a few points. So point 1 is just making sure that you check the location that you're going to drop when you're in the lobby so that you're ready to jump straight off when it is time to jump. Now if you look at the meters at the top, I've pinpointed Dusty Depot, and the meters are counting down. Now we dropped off the bus at about 950 meters from the pinpoint, and you can see there at about 450 meters we were diving straight down off the bus. 450 meters we then looked straight at where we pinpointed on our location, and our glider deployed at the lowest point when it was ready, and this generally makes us land roughly around the time which is optimal for landing before others. Now that does vary depending on if there is higher or lower ground around you, so you just need to play about with that, but generally those were the details that I found best. But normally I just use a 1.5 grid square away from the location to jump off the bus, which I found after a number of jumps generally worked out pretty accurately. So for ease, 1.5 grid is what I use personally. So this is game 1, and the idea was to get, in terms of materials, was to get lots of materials straight off so that I could build to defend myself, and I didn't get enough straight away. Luckily remembered how I had a trap there because I was missing lots of shots there. Overall, the landing tips I'm going to try to use for all of my solo games are to, if I'm landing near the edge of the map, I'm going to try and dive in towards the sea to ensure that I'm deploying the glider at the lowest point. I'm also going to try to check whether there's other players landing near me, and if when I'm landing, if they're landing nearby, trying to see whereabouts they are so that I've got an idea once I've got a gun where they may be coming from. Also, I'm not too sure at this point whether it's best to land on roofs or land on the ground and then go into a building from the ground floor. So I've been playing about with that one and I'm not convinced which one's best at this point, so I think that's going to be down to personal preference, and I'll work that one out as I go a little bit. But obviously when landing, it is a case of trying to get a gun straight away, which is something that I've sometimes not prioritised and actually just got a healable and then got killed by the person who got the gun. In terms of materials, I'm going to always try and aim for circles to ensure that things are broken quicker, which gives an advantage, and I think it also does help with improving aim with using the cursor to move around onto the circle. I'm going to break furniture throughout the houses when I land in a house to try and get as much mats as I can before actually leaving that house, in case there's a battle. At least I've got mats straight away. And then when moving across the map, I'm always going to be trying to top up the mats with trees that I pass and being mindful of ensuring I've got lots of materials in case a fight breaks out. Then the only other thing would be to move and try and only use your mats when you need to, which is something that I tend to do. I tend to waste mats once I've finally got some. I tend to build ramps when I don't need to, and not even in a battle, but to get high ground, there's sometimes a ramp that I could use, but I choose to build up instead. So it's trying to just use mats when needed, really. And then also towards the end of the game, if you've got lots of materials, it's a case of trying to not hold on to them as well, because there's no point in having lots of materials and dying. You might as well build and use up materials and give yourself the best chance of winning the battle. So again, that's something that I've sometimes done, is held on to materials unnecessarily, so I'm going to try and improve that. And in terms of the actual things to break, I've noticed really that I've hit rocks, trees and all that, and generally they are the same sort of materials that you get from each one. There's not masses of difference, so I think generally it is, I do tend to just hit anything that I see. I think walls and things tend to give the least, and certain kitchen appliances and things tend to give less, but overall I'm just going to hit what I can to get materials. I don't know what I was doing there with that edit, that was all over the place, but that's the overall aims that I'm going to have there. And then in terms of the rules that I'm going to set myself for all of the solo games that you're watching now, I'm going to try to stick to a few rules for myself, and the aim of all these rules is generally to make sure I'm getting into battles to try and improve. There's no point in running around the map for hours and not getting into any battles. I need to get engagement. So the first thing I'm going to do is try and jump off the bus pretty much as soon as I'm able to, and I'm always going to land in a named place, because hopefully there will be other people landing, and that means I'm going to get into engagements, which hopefully will then mean I'm going to get better. I'm not going to go too tilted at any point at the moment, because you can't build there, and I think the stage I'm at now, building is something I do need to do, because my aim is so far off, it's not good. So I'm going to certainly be avoiding tilted, but I am going to be landing at named places so that I can get into battles. If there's somebody near me, I'm going to try to choose to engage with them as opposed to running away from them. I want to get into battles and get better. So we're at game 7, we've already got 1 kill here, and there's somebody else just engaging on. Now you notice I'm using the minigun. I never pick up the minigun, so the kill that I got earlier with it was probably the first one I've ever got, and strangely this guy I managed to finish off with minigun as well. So usually minigun is possibly one that I should be picking up more, so anything that helps is going to be a bonus, right? So this is a sniper kill. This is the 3rd kill, so actually this seems to be my best game out of this 10, where I got 3 kills, and it's certainly equaled my best kill rate as well in a solo game, so that's really good. So talking about the sniper shots, I will be intending on doing a sniping aiming course as well at some point, so I'll be looking at that, and that might be certainly in the next 3 or 4 days I'll be doing that, so that'll be something worth looking out for, along with, I think day 2 is probably going to be a building course, because my building isn't great. And then I know I do need to do an aiming course for shotguns and ARs, because my shots and aiming are terrible. So certainly that's what I will be doing over the next few days. So if you think any of these are of interest and you are finding anything useful, and please do let me know in the comments, and if there's anything you think that you can see, I'm sure most of you out there are a lot better than I am, so if you see anything that you think I can improve on and should be working on in particular, and the best way of doing it, then please do let me know in the comments. I'll be really interested to know what you all think. And if you're interested in following me on the journey, and actually if you want to start the journey yourself, doing 10 games yourself and seeing how you get on, going back and looking at the replays, I think it's a really good idea, and it's made me think more about what I'm doing. Admittedly, I'm not going to get a lot better quickly, I don't think, but I do think over the course of 30 days I will be certainly improving, and if I see even a little bit of improvement, I think it's going to be worth it. So certainly worth a try. If any of you do give it a go, do let me know in the comments as well. I'd be really interested to see how you get on, and if you are liking this video, please do drop a like, subscribe and turn on the bell for future videos. I do intend to drop a video at least once a week, so do keep an eye out for that, and that will obviously will let you know if I do them. So yes, so that would be great if you could do all those things. That really does help me out. Thanks. So this is the end of game 10. I hope some of you may have found this useful. It's a very basic video, I know, but they will get harder, and I'll leave you with the basic tips for the end of this video. Hope to see you all back on day 2. Thanks.